Hi guys, my name is Catherine Imlow. I am a targeted individual. I am making this video as part 3 to the Epstein files and targeted individuals. So I'm going to be reading some of the specific case files around targets' lives today, as well as sharing some of my own story. Okay, so I'm going to be reading about government and military technology. These are weapons that are used on targets, and this is a part of the targeting program. So EMF and RF, government and military technology. Solinov, sophisticated radio frequency technology, designers for government and military sources. Government and police targeting of an individual 15 to 50 years of age, unusual disturbances in the home, victim, family members, victims of family, pet dog Ruby, referred to timeline, referred to file 14, government EMF and RF technology. Suspicious activity of altered states of mind has been recognized and recorded during the act of targeting and presents itself in the form of use of highly developed classified technology to conduct human experimentation on the human mind, in the form of satellite and radio frequencies being used to affect and interfere with the electrical impulses of the human brain and being conducted by the government targeting the victim and her family, and also includes military services. The highly sophisticated, developed, and designed technology involving the use of radio frequency and satellite frequency was discovered and revealed during contact with the company Solinov, representative's name of contact Sanka, PH 0403223900, during the development of JC Innovations, involving the development of software of products and designs involving GPS tracking systems. It was also revealed through contact of a mentor of the Venture Dorm program with an employee of the Adelaide University Division Svelte Studios, involved in the development of technology involving NASA and artificial intelligence. The application of recording keystrokes of mobile phones. Joseph Kassar also revealed the intellectual property theft of a current development of JC Innovations of a social media security program currently being developed and under an NDA between JC Innovations and a software development company, and involving predatory behavior on social media and in the possession of Svelte Studios University. Artificial intelligence, Adelaide University, military involvement, sexual targeting, 2014 to 2016. The targeted victims within this evidence all suffered from the same symptoms of nightmares, insomnia, extreme anxiety, graphic imagery while suffering from nightmares, and in their sleep of being attacked, raped, or introduced to individuals they had not witnessed or encountered before during waking hours, everyday life, or television imagery, watching television programs. Neither victim had suffered any forms of these events or conditions medically or personally, and there are no medical records or findings of these symptoms ever occurring in their lives before the dates of 2013. The victim first contesting to the intellectual property theft of a medical business plan and development developed between the years of 2006 and 2012. And in the possession of SA Health, South Australian government, and the start of awareness of the unusual events and occurrences happening in their lives involving the suspicion of targeting and fraudulent activity. So for me personally, what these weapons do is they create a whole bunch of negative, harmful, physically painful, and mentally painful symptoms. So it's similar to Havana syndrome, where you feel fear and anxiety, you have vertigo, your ears are ringing, you can't sleep, you're having sleep disturbances, and you can have physical pain from it as well if they're using direct energy weapons on you. And it can be quite painful. The EMF radio frequency technology is affecting your brain waves, and they can send you negative thought patterns, negative thoughts, and it can affect your dreams as well. And so usually the dreams have really negative themes to them, really inappropriate themes, and it's not something that's normal to you, and it's not something that normally happens. And so you know that it's a product of these weapons, and they are used for experimentation purposes. They are used to trigger certain reactions from you. They are used to extract information about you, and this is all being done covertly, and it's extremely painful. I'm going to keep reading. So the victims suffered as a result of the continuous targeting, victimization, and the suspected use of this technology involving interference in the electrical impulses of the brain, involving government human experimentation, which resulted in permanent psychological damage to the victims' lives, anxiety conditions, insomnia, fear of sleeping due to continuous nightmares and graphic imagery of rape, abduction, physical assault, physical attack, devious and psychologically disturbing sexual acts in nature, fear of relationships, fear of interaction and contact with people, fear of intimacy, constant stress-related conditions, isolation, segregation from family, children, and friends, constant vigilant high alert, awareness of unusual activity, fraudulent activity, and suspicion of targeting of criminal illegal activity of some form between the years of 2015 to 2017, which occurred again between 2018 and 2019. Full knowledge and recognition of targeting involving the Australian government and the extensity of the targeting becoming apparent and known to the victim in 2019 to 2020. So this specific case file is in Australia. However, these attacks, disuse for government experimentation, these technologies are being used all over the world on innocent civilians, innocent people. And they are incredibly dangerous because not only are they affecting your electrical impulses in your brain and your brain waves and your brain activity, they are also affecting your organs. The direct energy weapons cause cancer and the rate from the radiation. And so these weapons are actually harming your organs. And that's part of the intent. They want to do experimentation on you to see if they can cause cancer, to see how much radiation it would take to cause cancer, for a whole multitude of reasons, right? And as a result, your physical health takes a huge hit, and you're constantly in a state of pain because of it. Okay. Additional information. Peter Bannister, Red Devils motorcycle gang, Hells Angels motorcycle gang, informed the targeted victim that numerous and multiple motorcycle gang members in his association have infiltrated the government systems and medical departments, nurses, as their employment positions. Motorcycle gang members' involvement in government and police organized crime, government and police organized targeted crime of an individual. Informed the targeted victim during 2013 to 2016 that a friend of his stepson residing in Port Pirie was employed in the Port Pirie Services SA car registration department and had been caught illegally altering records. The employee was a young woman, 20 to 30 years of age. Informed the targeted victim that he had the knowledge that numerous lawyers engaged in prostitution during their tuition of gaining a lawyer degree. Informed targeted victim that his stepson Matthew was in the military services. Peter Bannister was a carer on Centrelink payments for his ex-wife, mother of his two stepsons residing in Port Pirie. Military involvement in targeting and sexual targeting. Point of interest: motorcycle gang members in medical industry, access to pharmaceutical drugs, sexual targeting. 2014 to 2015, Paul Gardner. Targeted victim witnessed pharmaceutical drugs in Paul Gardner's possession, who had proceeded to try and encourage the targeted witness to try the drugs dextroamphetamine. Port Pirie Township Activity 2013 to 2016 approached and informed the targeted victim that he had moved from Queensland to Port Pirie 3 weeks prior to the 18th March 2016. Targeted victim approached at the Central Hotel Port Pirie and Federal Hotel Port Pirie. Dean informed the targeted victim that the Port Pirie police had stopped him in town and questioned him. Dean stated that he had a son who had cared for 15 years, but now lives with his mother, who was hooked on ice for years, but is now clean. Dean stated that he moved from Queensland to Port Pirie because of corruption in Queensland and wanted a quiet location to reside in. Queensland continuous and multiple involvement in organized targeted crime. Targeted victim noticed a stranger male walking Meadow Crescent, Port Pirie, regularly on occasions. Appearance: tall with olive skin, light blonde brown hair, short on top, shoulder length at back, black tattoo, and a band pattern that went around the top of his right arm, blue jeans. The targeted victim sighted him while the male walked directly towards her place of residence, carrying an infant on his right side up against his chest. Infant's appearance: only months, 8 to 12 months old, approximately. Male in appearance, characteristics: light brown hair. Male came from the direction of the curb of Meadow Crescent, walking in the middle of the road. Male was at the entrance of Meadow Crescent, coming from the first left of Balmoral Road. Point of interest: numerous reports, sexual targeting file 2014 to 2016. Targeted victim documenting reports of male targeters informing their partners, women, were addicted to drugs and had children who the men cared for. Suspect: the men had targeted the female victims, introduced them to drugs regularly until they became addicts, then introduced them to prostitution before targeting their children for pedophilia prostitution. Also includes human trafficking of children for pedophilia. So that is a very common thing that will happen as a targeted individual, and it's happened to me, where they will send you handlers and people to infiltrate your life and get you addicted to certain things and disrupt your lifestyle, deplete your finances. Reading that out loud just now is so disturbing, and it's really shows what this program is really about. Not only is it profiting off people's pain and making money illegally off of innocent people's lives and subjecting them to psychological warfare and psychological torture every day, but they're harming children. They are using children for government experimentation. They are using children for pedophilia purposes. And it's really disturbing. It's really disturbing. I think it's just really important to keep shedding light on this because it's happening everywhere, right? So I'm going to keep reading. Multiple young boys on multiple occasions walking along the Port Pirie foreshore with older men towards the Port Pirie foreshore caravan park and returning hours later. Unusual multiple visitations of the Port Pirie Police Department to the John Pirie High School during the attendance of the targeted victim's youngest son, which increased when he stopped going to school due to developing insomnia, suddenly suffering nightmares and anxiety. Strangers, unknown men approaching the targeted victim continuously in various locations with the township and local shopping areas. Unknown vehicles following the targeted victim continuously with the Port Perry Township and region. Paul Gardner knowing the make and model of targeted victim's vehicle upon meeting her and sighting her vehicle in the car park as he walked her out of the shopping mall to her car. The targeted victim was approached by a male who stated, "A 60-year-old cannot let it go. If you don't drop it, you'll end up in a hole at the Port Wakefield Abattoir meat processing plant with the rest of the bodies." Death threats. This male was unknown to the targeted victim. So the program will use threats and intimidation to make you feel unsafe, and to create paranoia and to make you fearful and isolate yourself. Um, they really are trying to separate you from society and from community. And death threats can happen. They can happen in person, but they can also happen on social media platforms, through email or through any of your apps. They will target you through there. And especially if you are speaking out on what's happening to you, they will target you more so that way and continue to try to smear you. Unusual influx of names on vehicle number plates of the region Port Perry. Paul Gardner informed me that he buys number plates and phone numbers. Refers to sexual targeting file. Extreme sexual targeting. Paul Gardner number plate given to targeted victim. Phone contact 2015, early hours of the morning. Caller named Phil stated that he was looking for environment. The caller was unknown and the targeted victim and phone number was a private number. Wayne was then approached by two men dressed in black t-shirts. One had blondish, short spiked hair, unknown to targeted victim, and stated, "Don't go near her as she is nothing but trouble, a real bitch." So this is the type of smearing that you will find if you are targeted. And it's happened to me personally when you go to stores or when you are out. The police who are targeting you, the people who are involved in the program, will have told these people lies, and they use the Neighborhood Watch program to facilitate this behavior by spreading rumors, by spreading gossip, by smearing you to the community. Um, this is how they sort of push these narratives out. And so then you are faced with dealing with toxic community members who will approach you in public and say nasty things to you or mock you. And the same thing will happen to you on social media. And these things are happening to me. 15th April 2020, sleeping in parents' home, vivid dreams. Unusual dream regarding the kidnapping of the targeted victim's children. Being in a relationship with a lower-class male of an uneducated position in a rundown house. 2 dreams consecutively, government and police technology. Illegal use of technology, targeting the targeted victim in her parents' home with EMF and RF technology to directly disturb the electronic impulses of the mind, brain, causing sleep disturbances as recorded by herself and her youngest son, Corey, in 2013 to 2021. Premeditated intention. Okay, that's all I'm going to read for today. Thank you for listening, and I'll be making another video soon.